Hi everyone, it's Bethany, and today I'm working on organizing my craft space still. I feel like that's a project that just continues to go on and on and on, and I'm sure you guys get that. But I am going to be making a little area to put my little Cricut pens in, and I am using this little planter. So you actually can use this to put plants in, and it comes in the floral section at Hobby Lobby. I got this a long time ago, and I was originally going to use it for plants, but I thought it would be really cute to hang this in my craft space and then place pens inside. So I'm going to show you my idea for that. But for this project, I thought it would be a cute idea to use the watercolor vinyl that I showed you guys in one of my unboxing videos. If you guys didn't see it, I got a bunch of patterned vinyl, and this was one of the patterns that was in there. It's a watercolor, and I believe I also picked this up in HTV as well. So I thought that would be pretty, but I'm also going to do a multi-layer text so that I can have a nice pop of pink behind it, so it will really stand out on this nice white surface. So I think it'll look really pretty. I'm excited to see how it turns out. So that's the idea for today. I also have some scrap pieces of transfer tape that I'm going to be using, and I am going to be using some clear transfer tape because I'm going to layer vinyl on top of vinyl, so it'll be nice to really be able to see through it and see where I'm laying it down. Other tools will be the weeding tool and some scissors and a scraper. I'm also going to be using the Cricut Joy, so I grabbed the Cricut Joy mat because I'm going to be using materials that are not smart materials, so allow me to place those on the mat and send it through the machine. I think that is it. I also wanted to mention, and I don't talk about plants often on my channel, but about a couple months ago, you guys were helping me so much when I was first getting houseplants and getting things going, and I want to say thank you because I am now up to, I think, 5 houseplants. So when I was first talking to you guys about it a couple months ago, I had one houseplant that I was really trying to get going, and I was super nervous about it, and I made a pot for it that says, please don't die, because let's just face it, I do not have a green thumb, but I can officially say I have a green thumb now. I have done really well, and all my plants are thriving. So that is totally a tangent, but I wanted to say thank you because a lot of you offered some really great advice and it's working. Okay, let's hop into Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to also measure this space really quick. So let me grab a measuring tape. Okay, so the area that I'm working with, I think I want to keep my design at about 5 inches across. So I think that will look really, really nice. So let's pop into Design Space, and I will get this all typed out with the text font, and then I will show you how I'm going to make it a multi-layer font.
Okay, so I'm just going to write out my text in the text box. So it's this 5th button over on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And if you want to do a font that has multi-layers, what you can do is you can come up here and let me clear this out. I am going to use the filter, and you can find a line item over here that says multi-layer, and if you select that, it will give you a bunch of fonts that have 2 layers, 2 or 3 layers on them. So the one I am going to use is called Cake Basics, and it's a really nice font. I think it'll look really pretty. I'm also going to do this all in capital letters, and so what I'm going to put on this is I'm going to say write. And I'll make this a lot bigger so that you can see. So now initially it is 1 layer, but if you look over in the layers panel here, there's a layer that's hidden. It has the little I that is crossed out. So if you click that, then you will turn on the 2nd layer. So that will help you see. So this first layer, I'm just going to make a light pink, just so I know what to send through. And then the 2nd layer, I'm going to make it a darker pink. So I'm just going to go to advanced and kind of drag this over. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. Let me make the other one. Let's make this color, and we'll make the other one a really nice light pink. That will help us really see the difference between the two. Okay, so this is where I'm going with this. So I'm going to size this. I said I wanted to keep it about 5 inches, so I'm just going to size that down a little bit. And since my little container has a little slant at the top, I think I'm going to curve this just a little bit. So I'm going to take the curve button right here, and oops, wrong way. I'm going to curve this just slightly so that it almost takes on the curve of the cup that I'm putting it in, or the little container. I'm not sure really what to call it. I want to call it a planter, but I'm not using it as a planter, so I'm hesitant to call it that. Oh, keep doing that. just want a really slight curve. Okay, I think that's going to look really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my joy selected over here, and I'm going to select Make It. Okay, so I'm just going to select on the mat because I'm sending through some materials that are not smart materials, and I'll select Done. And then it's going to divide it onto two different mats. So this first mat is going to be that dark pink that I'm using, which is the bottom layer, and then this is the top layer, which will be the pretty patterned vinyl that I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and click Continue, and then it's going to locate my joy via Bluetooth. I'm going to go ahead and select Premium Vinyl for both. I'll use default pressure, and we'll go ahead and load the materials and get them all cut out.
Okay, so I have a little scrap piece of that pink that I grabbed, so I'm going to go ahead and place that in there. That way I can use some of my scrap materials. And I'll go ahead and load that first. That's what Design Space is calling for. And I'll go ahead and select Go on my device and get that first one cut out. And in the meantime, I'm just going to cut out a little piece of this. And so when I open this up, you can kind of, when you have a patterned vinyl, kind of decide what part of the sheet to use based on if the pattern changes. So I'm just going to unroll this and kind of take a look and see if there's any particular pattern. So for example, if you went up here, you have some yellows. If you cut this area, it's more like teals and pinks and purples. So I'm not sure what I want to do. I kind of like this, just keep it simple, and you can get a variety of colors in it. So I'm just going to probably grab a little slice up here to use. And I just need very little. Okay, so I grabbed a little piece, and I'm just going to place it right on my mat here. Get it all on there, and we'll send this piece through. I like the little colors that are in there. I think that'll be really pretty. Okay, I actually had to grab another different piece from my roll because my first one that I put through on my little mat, my mat is just losing its stick, so it's time to get it all cleaned and re-stick it. So I just grabbed a new piece and placed it on this, so the color might be a little bit different, but I actually think I like the second one better. It's really vibrant, so it was a happy accident to do that. So it's just time to get a clean mat. So I'm going to unload this and we can get to weeding this all out. That looks really nice. So I cut this piece a little bit big, but I'm not going to save the scraps on it because I don't know that I can use anything with the leftovers. So you feel free to use the scraps if you need to, but I'm just going to let those go. So I'm going to go ahead and weed these out. So I'm going to do the first one. This is the bright pink. So again, this is the bottom layer. It's going to look really neat. I wanted to make sure that I had a really vibrant pop of color behind the watercolor because it'll really help it stand out on this white surface and just give some contrast between the two. So I have that first one, and before I weed this second one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just prep the surface. That way it can dry while I'm weeding that next one, and it won't hold us up in the project at all. So I just have a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and I'm just going to rub the surface. It's just going to clean the oils and dirt off of the surface. That way it's really prepped and ready for the vinyl. Okay, there we go. Looks great. And I think that curve is going to look really nice. Do you guys see how there's a little, very slight natural curve on this? So I think just a little bit of curve is going to actually look pretty nice on there. It's very subtle, but it's going to look good. Okay, so now I'm going to just weed out this second one, and whoops. Okay, oh, that looks really neat. It's really cool once you start weeding to see what, you know, where your little letters kind of fall on the pattern. Oops, one little letters right kind of wants to come up with the rest. Come here. Okay. So that looks really fun. Oops, and then a little inside piece right here. Okay. so this one, that's how that turned out. That's really neat. Okay, so that's going to go right on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them both and then place them over here. And you can do that however you would like. If you have a different way that you like to do it, go for it. This way is a way that I'm most comfortable with, so that's why I do it this way. But I always tell you guys that if you have a different way of doing things, then go with your tried and true way that you like to do it, and that's just fine. So I'm going to take my scraper, I'm going to really scrape that down, make sure that it's really meeting that transfer tape and that vinyl. They're coming together nicely. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the exact same thing on the back. Okay. I'm going to peel that up just like that. So this would actually look pretty neat as, you know, I wonder if I should put the pink behind it. Whoop, hold on, let me see. No, I still think it's going to look really neat with the pink behind it. I was going to say, I'm not sure. Both ways look really cool. I might be changing my mind. I'm going to hover this over here and see if I like it. Okay, well, I personally think it looks really cool just like this, but since I told you I was going to do a double layer, then I will do a double layer. So I am going to just hover this over, and I'm hovering over this other little piece here, and I'm just going to lay it down. Okay, so now it's down, and I'm going to take my scraper, and I'm just going to scrape that down so that, and that little layer is really subtle. It's super subtle, so it's just going to place a little outline around the letters. So it really actually is pretty slight. So now that they're both on there, I'm going to just go ahead and turn that over and remove my backing. And now what I'm going to do is, because I'm placing this on a curved surface, I'm going to grab my scissors and just place little cut lines around the transfer tape. And this is just going to help the transfer tape be a little bit more flexible and lay down a little nicer on that curved surface. So I do this when I'm working with anything that has a curved surface, and it just really helps. Okay, so now that I have those little cut marks in there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of center visually. I'm just going to actually center that eye, I think, as best I can. And actually that looks pretty good to me. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so then I am going to grab my, actually I'll go with my fingers first and just kind of place that down. And those little cut marks just kind of help make that a little bit more flexible so that the transfer tape can kind of bend if it wants to, and it won't stay as rigid. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that all down just like this. Get it really scraped down as well. Okay, I'm just going to grab that transfer tape and peel, and it might peel off a little funky just because you have cut marks in it, but it's actually peeling off really nice. Oh, that looks really cool. I love how that looks. What do you guys think? I think that looks really, really neat. So now what I'm going to do, and you guys can't even really tell that that is curved, so I think that looks really good, but it just kind of almost took on a really nice, smooth line with the top of that little basin, I think. So I think that looks really cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place all of my little pens in here, and then this will just hang on the wall by my craft space, and it'll have a little area that just my little Cricut pens will go in. So I think that looks really cute. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I hope you guys love it. So let me know if you guys have worked with patterned vinyl before. It's really fun to work with. I think it looks really fun. Also, I would recommend if you have a pattern that, you know, is a little bit hard to see, or if it just needs a little bit of help, you know, standing out on the base that you're putting it on, whether it's a shirt or, well, I guess you would not do it on a shirt, but you could do the HTV on a shirt, a pattern HTV. But try the multi-layer text because that really helps when you can have a color behind it just to help it really stand out and pop out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll also link some pattern vinyl coffee mugs that I did with kind of the same method where I put a color behind it and it really helped it pop on the surface. So I'll put that up in the corner if you guys want to check that out. Be sure to give a thumbs up if you thought this was a good idea, if you thought this was fun, and be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys are crafting. I love hearing about what everybody else is up to. It always is so fun to hear what everybody else is doing at their own craft table. All right, everyone, be sure you're subscribed. There's more fun things coming up, and I'll see you in the next video.